From Kampala, this is Cinema Red Pill. I'm Sharon, and I'm here with
Malcolm
and
Joel. Oh, Joy.
This is episode 48 of Cinema Red Pill.
I'm so excited, man.
Yes. We have been here a long time.
Yeah.
One entire year.
Yeah. Cinema Red Pill in the house. Happy birthday, guys.
So, today we're going to talk about Thor Ragnarok. I have a superhero movie, but I don't even know what to call you.
Are you ashamed of that?
You wear superhero
Movie
shirts
buff is
every time.
Yeah,
Movie
only,
buff is
only all the time.
A superhero geek.
Yes.
Yes.
I like how you're somehow more comfortable with that.
Yes.
It's less words.
Superhero geek and a superhero fan.
I don't watch
I'd
movies.
say. But you know why I'm raising? Because Malcolm, this counts because the last time you gave me a phone call. No, you gave me a phone call the last time. This time you texted.
Yeah.
But the last time you said I want to come on Cinema Red Pill was
Yeah.
Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yes.
Now it's Thor Ragnarok.
Yes.
So
There's a pattern.
Maybe it's becoming
there's
a thing,
pattern.
you know? Maybe
Yes.
it's a thing. It's just that, you know what? I feel like it was both kind of the same thing a little bit. I feel like these were movies that dealt with their material in ways that I didn't expect. That were both like more... I hate using the word fun. Shit, fuck the word fun. But the
Fun
truth
is
is...
an okay thing to say
so
to
vague.
describe a film.
But they were both so fun and all at the same time very tight, you know, technically, and while they're still very good films and good pictures.
Okay.
So fun. They just weren't taking themselves all that
You just
seriously
had a
anymore.
blast while you watched.
So Ragnarok is, it gave me that, you know, when you just have that emotional excitement out of a cinematic experience. It's not just from swinging and all that stuff.
Okay.
It just goes, oh man, this whole thing came together. The writing, the sequences, the jokes, the tone, everything was fantastic.
Wow,
Thor
I'm happy
Ragnarok.
we have Malcolm here because you might be the only one who's that high on this film.
Yeah, that's true.
Between the three of
Does
us.
everyone not love Thor Ragnarok?
No, we have reservations.
Okay, please, let's start there, guys.
Wait, let me.
Start with
Okay.
the good.
Okay, let me first intro the film. So Thor Ragnarok, the 17th film of
Jesus
Marvel. This is
Christ.
like a long
Man.
series.
Is this the
of
Marvel
feature
comic
film.
universe or the Marvel
Yeah.
extended universe?
Marvel
Cinematic
Universe.
universe. MCU.
Yes,
Okay.
MCU. This is the 17th.
Okay.
Started with Iron Man in 2008.
Oh.
We are now here. The next one will be Black Panther next year.
So the first couple of Spider-Mans were in which universe?
Fox's other stuff.
That was
Okay.
Sony actually.
Sony. Why are you
Marvel
confused?
rights are all over the place.
Okay.
So that's sort of its own thing.
This is when they realized, we can make a good amount of money if we just produce the stuff ourselves.
Yeah.
Same.
Nothing was ever the
Nothing
same.
at
They're
all.
making a
All
shit
under
ton
one
of stuff.
giant empire.
Yeah.
So Thor Ragnarok, the third in Thor's universe, and those other two films didn't do great. It's directed by Taika Waititi, a New Zealand director. He's amazing.
I was so excited, guys.
He's great, guys. If you've not seen his previous films, you must see that shit.
Yeah.
You should see Hunt for the Wilder People.
Yes,
you
good.
must see What We Do in the
I still haven't
Shadows.
seen that, but it looks hilarious.
You got to see that.
Yeah, do you have
He
it?
has it. I have it. I'll give it to
Yeah.
you after this.
Bootleg.com.
I officially do not bootleg any videos. Officially,
I bought
officer. I bought all my movies, officer.
So in this film, do you know I've forgotten the plot? So he's on. What the hell was he doing in the other place?
He
Did
was
they say?
he was in the.
He went. Okay,
he was-
he came from Asgard. He went to the Grandmaster's place,
Sakaar.
I'm sorry.
Sakaar,
Yeah.
to do what? Because
Like-
that's the basic premise of
No,
the
he's
film.
exiled to Sakaar. Basically, it's the end of days in Asgard.
Yeah.
Yes.
And before Thor can save the day, he's
Because
banished to
of
Sakaar.
Hela.
I did.
Malcolm, give
So
us your
funny.
thoughts on Thor
Oh
Ragnarok.
man, it's hella funny. It was. I'm dead. That was my favorite thing about Thor Ragnarok, and I think it's something that specifically Taika Waititi introduced to to it, because I feel that a lot of his work is very much. It deals with very kind of deep emotional things, coming of age stories, but he's also very hilarious. I think, was that dude a stand-up comedian or is this his friends comedians?
He just has a
Thinking
really
on the
great
fly.
sense of
He
humor.
did some
Flash for
stand-up
Concord
before he
because-
He
started
did?
film. Yeah.
Awesome.
Because he's hilarious, and I feel
Very
like
funny.
for me he was the star of Thor Ragnarok.
He is.
I feel like he changed the tone, so not changed the tone, but he experimented with it the extent where there's so many moments where I felt this should be such a serious, deep, pensive moment, and they find a way to make it hilarious and still keep the stakes high. You know, I feel like that's such a difficult thing to balance out sometimes. I loved to some extent I love the symbology. I love that he kind of looks at Asgard and he says, okay, look at this really beautiful place with like a rainbow road, right?
Yeah.
And also think about how full of shit such a place could possibly be. And I thought it was a metaphor for America. I thought it was a metaphor for this place that kind of has these great ideals that it lives by. And aesthetically, it seems really great or whatever, and it has certain values that are aspirational or whatever, but it has an underside and it has a dark side that makes it possible for them to be those.
That's a good metaphor.
Yes, democracy, be freedom, happiness, love, light, whatever. And it has a dark underside that made that even possible. I don't want to say made it possible, but kind of made certain resources and certain whatever. You know what I mean? Like America's imperialism and this history of slavery and exploitation and stuff. I think that are rarely spoken about by, I feel,
that was interesting.
Certain Americans. And I felt that in Thor represented that kind of American, that white American who was brought up on myths of exceptionalism, but also myths of what the history was. And Hela was so great in showing kind of how you can morph a story and you can make a narrative, and how complicated I feel even our heroes tend to be. And I'll remember the other things I loved about it.
Oh, that's a cool thing though to latch on to.
Yeah.
That's one of the things you loved. I actually thought you were
because I looked at it on such like a surface comic book level when it came up and just enjoyed it briefly. But yeah, I like the way you brought it up. You're right. It's very interesting. In terms of like how Asgard itself was built and the foundations it was built on.
This place has a fucking rainbow road. Like that
can't
be.
I've never thought that. Yeah.
Like it's like it has. There has to be some darkness underneath it. Yeah. Yeah. We'll see how it goes.
No, you's next. So
me next.
What did you like about Thor? Hate about Thor? Your thoughts?
Let's start with Let's start with positivity. As also what I loved most about Thor was the Taika Waititi-ness.
Taika.
Yeah. Yeah, the only other film of his I watched is Hunt for the Wilder People. I really liked it. Yeah, all the stuff you said about how he has a really strong emotional thematic foundation, and then layers it with all these hilarious jokes, and even just that New Zealand like sensibility where they tell their jokes, a sense of humor.
Korg, guys. Korg is my favorite character in that film, guys. Yeah, bro, yeah. Yeah, it's like high-pitched New Zealand accent with his voice. Let's start a revolution. Yeah,
he didn't send out enough pamphlets.
He didn't send up enough pamphlets.
I think Korg was even more entertaining for me because he's such a departure from how he is in the comic books.
Oh yeah? What's Korg like?
He's a very serious character. First of all, this movie is an adaptation of a Hulk storyline. Where Hulk gets banished to Sakaar.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Basically, the Illuminati.
I love you, man. Thank you for being yourself.
So basically, the Illuminati in the Marvel universe consists of like Doctor Strange, Black Panther, Reed Richards.
Doctor Strange is in on it?
Yeah, Mr. Fantastic, Iron Man, and Professor X.
Of course.
So they're like,
my mind is being blown right now.
So they're like the world's smartest men. So they get together and like, you know what? We've let Hulk fuck shit up for too long.
Yeah.
You need to get him off his fucking planet.
Yeah.
So they strap him onto a rocket, they trick him into his mission and blast him off into God knows where.
Oh man.
So like Hulk gets stranded in this planet, he's imprisoned, becomes a gladiator, he meets up with Korg and a bunch of guys.
He doesn't meet Thor?
No.
That storyline?
No.
Oh, interesting.
They have like a Spartacus-like revolution.
Yeah.
Hulk becomes the emperor, the overlord of that planet.
They kept talking about the revolution.
Yeah, then Hulk leads an invasion on Earth. Have vengeance on those guys.
Illuminati.
And it's a fucking amazing storyline.
Oh man.
Which they've said because Marvel cannot do Hulk movies because Universal owns Hulk.
Okay.
So it's loaned it out.
Is this from back in the day when they're still making the movies with who was the guy before?
Ang Lee made the first one.
Ruffalo?
Yeah. There's Mark Ruffalo, and then there was what's his face?
You know, I'm trying to remember.
Mr. Popular actor.
Edward Norton.
Yes, Edward Norton.
Yeah. Is that Universal owned the rights?
Yeah, so Universal owns the rights to making actual Hulk movies.
Okay.
So what Marvel is trying to do is sort of sprinkle Hulk story like
the
through
Avengers
other movies and stuff.
Okay.
So this movie, like just tonally, is rapid departure from what that story
that
is.
story?
Yeah.
So, but was the Hulk funny in that story?
No, he was not.
Because even the fact that he could
No,
speak
he
in
was
this
basically
film
a baby.
No, he could speak though in this other one, but was like it was still had like a more super dark tone in terms of he was betrayed by his friends and wanted to go back and like fuck them up. Yeah, but this one though was like super entertaining. Here Hulk has like grown into this whole thing, and it made sense that he wouldn't want to go back home because everyone treats him like shit. He's like a king. It's a fucking amazing story. But yeah, back to saying Korg is a big departure, but I found it entertaining.
Okay.
And that was derived from the whole New Zealandness, which I like about the humor.
Yeah.
Yes.
I believe Taika even had some actual, like, some of his actors who he's kind of worked with over time. I kept recognizing
There's the lady who's
the enforcer.
in Sakai,
That's going to be my next thing. I like that he brings his gang like with him into the other films. Very James Gunn thing.
You know, it was all shot in New Zealand too.
Wow.
Even better.
Yeah, that's why it's very New Zealand-y. Like, it's like Kevin Feige just let him do his shit. Because Thor had failed for a while.
Yeah, and besides that, besides the humor, I liked one action scene exactly.
Which one?
The opening action scene.
This is the one where he's fighting the demon?
Yeah. That was great hammer action.
I was making noise, guys. It was well cut. The music was amazing. I like this about this film as well, man. I like the fact that
music is great. The
music's pretty good. There's certain moments where I was like, whoa, this sounds like experimental almost, man. It's got some like experimental techno going on. Then at some points they have some really cheesy, corny like music. But
they had like a lot of nice synth 80s stuff that I definitely appreciated. Even with the sets, there's a lot of like junky dystopian, again, style 80s style stuff where it's just sort of cobbled together. It's very there. It's not like CGI locations. Like just that big junkyard city was fucking beautiful to see. And they swore.
Yes, guys.
I love that.
What rating is this film?
There's so many times. They swore so many times. I was like, what the fuck is happening?
They had a lot of anal sex references.
Yes, I died, guys.
Yes.
And that is one of the moments where I was like, Taika Waititi.
There were many.
I don't know how we got away with that, because
I swear it was only the anus of.
Satan's anus?
The devil's anus?
The devil's anus, yeah.
That's what that was it. That was only in reference.
No, there's the one about Thor's hammer. That was an anal reference. I mean, I took it
I
as
remember
that.
I remember that scene.
And you ride it and you get
Yeah.
That was an anal
Do you ride it or does it?
Does it ride you?
How do you fly? Do you ride it?
I don't think that was
I think now that's something I appreciate is the sexuality in the film.
Yeah.
That's something I've missed in big budget films.
Yeah.
And I don't know how we got away with that, because like Guardians has always just sort of teetered on the edge of that stuff and just snuck by it.
The next one they're going all in. The next next Guardians,
I think
guys.
it's a good response. And Guardians are pretty much they're pretty much going to meet. They're going to meet up with Thor like in
Infinity?
Avengers. Yeah, Infinity War. Yeah, I think they're going to be the first like meetup. So already now thematically the worlds make more sense.
Fair enough.
To me.
Coming together in tone and everything.
All hail Kevin Feige. I
Yeah.
feel like he has this shit down.
Yes,
Is that how you say that guy's name, by the way?
Feige.
Yes, it's Feige.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't say his name. If someone
But
put a gun to
mine
my
is
head,
the
I'll say
white
Feige.
pronunciation.
Feige.
Yeah, I've had someone say it as Feige.
Is that what made you sure? Like
That's
you're on
why
the
I'm
track?
sure. Like, if I was reading, I was like, I know Fig is like Paul Fig, the guy of the
Paul
comedian
Fig,
guy. Feige,
Feige has an
Salon.
E,
Yeah.
so it becomes Feige.
and I and then okay. That's not what's important. Joe,
So-
proceed.
Wait, so do we keep going? Do you want to do good stuff first?
No.
Oh, yeah, you
I
haven't said
just
you-
I'm
dive
sure
into
you have more stuff.
more good
Oh,
stuff.
you really struggled for our last one.
You've struggled. Let me go.
Yeah, go.
So I'm supposed to do good stuff. Okay.
Yeah, do good stuff.
So I have one good stuff. So overall, I'm kind of tired of this shit because it's too empty for me to have anything to hold on to.
Yeah.
I'm really kind of tired,
Emotionally empty.
emotionally empty, and I know we are supposed to come in for it's not supposed. It's usually juvenile. Their emotions are very juvenile. They're very surface. They're not going to go deep enough. They never do. It's for very surface level emotions and huge spectacle. I just think it's what people have become comfortable with.
Okay.
But I'm kind of not anymore.
Okay.
And Joel looks like he wants to defend it, but
No. I'd say the exceptions to the rule, like Civil War, which I think delved
that's
into
exactly
heavier
why
stuff.
I really hold that movie in such high regard.
Yeah.
But sometimes I feel like people give these movies like Thor a second they give him a pass, because this is not what they are. They're
Not
popcorn.
expected to be,
the emotions should be at the
Yes,
surface.
yeah.
It should be just a good spectacle. Just try
Exactly.
something different. Then that's how it gets a 90 what on Rotten Tomatoes.
No, that was
Way overboard. That's way over.
Seriously.
So my thing is one thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so you remember there's a character called Valkyrie.
Yes.
So she has a conflict.
Oh, man,
I was excited for a character to come on screen, but when she came, I wasn't that pleased with how they did her.
Okay.
It wasn't that great. But then she has a story about how she was formerly she was part of
A
Thor's-
Valkyrie. She was a
Her name is a
Valkyrie.
Valkyrie. She was a
Yes,
Valkyrie.
she was a Valkyrie something. It's from
She's
Thor's
a
people.
Valkyrie named Valkyrie.
What?
Yeah.
A Vulcan.
No one bothered to ask her name?
No, she's just called Valkyrie.
Valkyrie.
I think she has a name, but she just called her Valkyrie and went with that.
Okay. I feel like Thor is
So,
just an asshole.
Valkyrie-
Yeah, he is. Go on.
Valkyrie used to fight with Hela, the main villain of the film. So
Yes.
she's part of the backstory about how the way they became powerful was not a very straightforward
Right,
way.
that's cool.
So it has a flashback scene. Now, that flashback scene was the most amazing thing I ever saw. When I watched that scene, I just knew that it was jaw dropping for me, and I was like, there has to be something really special about that scene.
Okay.
Yeah.
Guess what? I found there's something special about that scene.
Tell us.
The way it's shot is very different from it's not in you. The way you look at it, you'd think this is something that was done by computer generated images, CGI.
Okay.
You'd think it was done by the
Sure,
computer,
like
but
in
it
the
was
sky and
really
shit,
exactly.
like flying
It
and-
wasn't done that way. This is some groundbreaking shit. This is okay. So
Tell us.
what's the last groundbreaking thing we had? Neo, right?
Okay.
With this.
Okay.
You remember that?
Okay.
So what did they do with Neo? They put a row of cameras
Yeah,
around
all
him,
around
a
him.
circle of cameras. What did they do with this scene? They put a circle of light around it. So what it made it seem like the characters were very still, but the objects around them were moving.
Yeah.
Fucking amazing! I was like, yes, this scene. There was something very special about
Makes
it.
sense.
That is my favorite thing about Thor Ragnarok. That is
Oh,
what I'm going to carry from Thor Ragnarok.
Oh my god, that's what you got out
You
of
guys, that scene is amazing. No,
It
that
is.
was what was really amazing about that.
I was
film.
kind of like,
Get
what's the
that.
point of that scene? I think I missed something. I think I blinked and I missed something. 'Cause it's supposed to be the scene where you notice something that Valkyrie did in her past that she's kind of regretful
yeah,
about.
yeah.
What did she do?
She's
a
regretful
spoiler?
about like
It's not really a spoiler, but she has like that what's that
Survivor's
syndrome?
guilt, huh?
Yeah, survivor's
that's why
guilt.
she drinks a lot. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
the
she's
fact that she fell.
on some horses. It's really cool, and that's what that image was like.
That's
It
all
was
you
like
got
a
from that whole movie,
painting.
yeah?
No,
Like, so
it's
much
not.
dissent to
It's
your
what
YouTube
I
clip.
really like.
No, just watch it.
Actually,
No,
Enjoy for your money.
I'm like, I'm like, it's what I really like. But other things have very many reservations because Thor. No, what's his name? What's his brother's name?
Loki.
Loki.
yeah.
They ruined fucking Loki with that campy comedy. You guys, Loki has been the most powerful character out of Thor. The only thing that the Thor universe
Yeah.
had gotten from this point was a powerful
Loki,
villain. It was
yeah.
Loki. They fucking ruined him here. I don't even understand what they're supposed to transition into because they made. You see, this film was basically a parody of itself. Okay.
Fair enough.
Yes.
Fair enough.
So they made a parody of itself, even with Loki.
Yeah.
And that was the strength of Loki, his backstabbingness. Now I
Maybe
just
that's
don't know
what
how
we-
they're supposed to
maybe
play
that's
this
what I enjoyed
angle.
so much
Yet
about
they've
the
made
film, you
so
know?
much a joke out of it.
But the thing is, I don't know. As a filmmaker, maybe subconsciously that's what I enjoyed. Not as a filmmaker, as a film watcher,
Filmmaker.
I enjoy films
You
that
are a filmmaker.
no. I mean, as a film watcher, I enjoy
Okay.
films that are kind of self-aware. You know, I enjoy films that know that they are a superhero film.
Okay.
And that's kind of the thing that I enjoyed about Thor is that I could just enjoy it and know, man, I'm not being taken for a fool. You know, we all know what's going on here. You know, and at some point there's going to be a joke or whatever. I feel like it takes some of these characters off a pedestal a little bit. And at some
Yeah.
point I did feel like, but Loki, aren't you supposed to be like the magnanimous joker of this situation almost, you know?
No,
Aren't you
he
supposed
is
to
the
be
joke.
Yeah, it's sort of a joke, and kind of Hela usurps him as the incredible villain, and she even like dresses like him. I felt like she was a placeholder for him, to be honest.
She even
I
has
thought
the
she was
horns.
all black, everything. Like, why does everyone else in this guy's family wear all black but Thor? Like, what's going on, guys?
Well, in her defense, that's exactly how she is in the
comics,
comics.
huh?
Yeah. But in terms of mannerisms, though, they gave her more low-key-ish, flamboyant mannerisms. In the comics, she's more of like this tower of power of just, I can fuck you up in a second, get out of my underworld. Like in the comics, she rules the underworld.
She's the god of death.
Yeah. So she's just death. She's just doing her thing, collecting souls and chilling. Here it's a different story, obviously. But yeah, I wish Loki wasn't such a fool.
Thank you.
I did enjoy the opening where he looked foolish, like when he gets revealed. That was funny to me.
Funny.
There's this sort of smarmy sort of dude like getting caught and it's like, oh shit, my big brother's going to beat me up. I have to talk my way out of it. That's cool. But beyond that, Loki has nothing to do in the movie. He's just sort of coasting through. He doesn't even have a story. He just sort of, oh, I'm here now. I've resolved my shit. You're sort of catching up. But they had actually a conversation in the elevator, which I think is the only time, one of the only few times, other than the stuff with the dad, where the movie slows down. Because they had this really heartfelt conversation where Thor is essentially telling him, I've sort of given up on changing you. Like, I am me and you are you. That was some heavy shit also for Loki.
Oh
like Loki to process.
Yeah. I remember
that was a heavy emotional
even
shit.
for Loki, that's the first time in the movie that I kind of felt he was like off his footing. Even when he gets revealed at the place, it's still fine. It's still like he's still in character.
Yeah, he's still doing his god
thing.
of mischief. His brother comes in, catches him, and they keep doing the thing.
But that moment was like, whoa. Even he looked like, for a second, even he looked like, man.
Like, oh shit, yeah. And there's more stuff like that. And then I also dislike while I do like the whole planet of Sakaar and everything that happens there, I feel like it was this giant side note in a main story. But we sort of went off and had fun on a planet for an hour. And it was like, oh yeah, we have a story, let's go back. Yeah, we have to save the guys.
That's exactly what it was.
So the structure, it bothered me. I had a lot of fun watching it. But when I think in terms of like its longevity and like rewatchability, I don't know if I would be as eager to jump back in, because usually I'll rewatch a movie again if it had a certain emotional core somewhere. Can be even with one character that I resonate with, and I didn't really have it. And I feel like they had opportunities with Thor and Loki to do that.
Valkyrie,
with the dad, with Valkyrie as well. I mean, I'm very happy with what Taika Waititi did. This film definitely should be watched. And after watching, because I watched Hunt for the Wilder People, and I know that he has it in him to balance really well-developed character moment stuff with super funny shit. And I feel like maybe having this giant ensemble movie, because Hunt for the Wilder People, he had two characters to focus on, and I really got into the whole deal and what they were going through. But here, I think you had Thor, you had Valkyrie, you had Hulk, you had
that Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Keep it moving.
Exactly.
Hulk there with Black Widow. You're like,
So when I think about it in those terms, I think given the circumstances, he really did a great job.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need to ask. I think it's a final question. Where does it place for you in all the 17 movies? And forward, do you think? Keep going, guys. We're still here. Hot take time.
I'll start with the last question. I think that should end. At least for this, for the Avengers, the placeholder guys.
But you're going to watch Black Panther with as much energy as this.
Yes, but Black Panther is supposed to be now like a new sort of generation of heroes.
Yes.
But the ensemble of like Captain America and Iron
is Black Panther
Man
not part of that same universe?
No, it's part of the same universe in terms of you have the original team that we had in the first two Avengers films, Avengers 2.5, Civil War. And then now you have Doctor Strange coming up, you have Black Panther, we have Captain Marvel coming up, and we have Spider-Man. Those are like sort of a new crop of heroes. And Marvel, I think, he also knows, because it's starting to get a little more weird. It's going into the more weirder parts of
Yeah.
its lore. It's going to space, and there's a whole fucking universe of shit they can play with in there. So I'd want to see them go more into that and sort of say goodbye to. Because we can't keep doing the whole. Well, no, the Earth is about to die.
Yeah, we're kind of
let's say
bored.
let's say it again and again and again. And your other question was where Ragnarok places.
Yes, places in all the 17.
I would say it actually places pretty highly. I'd put it actually above Guardians of the Galaxy too.
Damn.
Oh,
Yeah.
true. I'm not mad,
2.
but no, I
One-
actually wouldn't put it above 2.
Yeah, because I had more fun with this. Two was solid, but I had a few reservations with that. Didn't really hit
too
me.
solid. It even made it more solid.
Yeah, I beg to differ, but for me, 1 was like the height of that. So yeah, I would put Thor somewhere up there. It's definitely better than like Captain America 1 and a bunch of others. Iron Man 2.
Malcolm, what are your thoughts on this universe?
For me, I'll just say it in a very vague, in a very just generalized way, right? I like that Marvel has realized that they are the fun comic book universe, and they've decided to kind of get into that, and I hope they figure out ways to kind of complicate it over time. I think it's really refreshing compared to the DC approach that has been doom and gloom, and Wonder Woman balanced it really well, but I don't hate this, I don't hate that I can go watch a Marvel film, enjoy it thoroughly, but also not feel like an idiot so much. That's really nice.
Yeah.
So can't wait for your Black Panther thoughts.
Hey guys,
Yeah.
we'll be back.
Guys, let's close this off.
Are we done?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so Malcolm, we have this new section we do where we give people recommendations of what we've watched.
Okay.
So they can be encouraged to watch something beyond what we do every week, because one film a week is not enough
Fair
to
enough.
give people something, a basis.
Is it a film that you've already seen, or
A film you've already
Hopefully, yeah.
you've seen it
seen,
very recently?
depending.
Flexible.
Okay.
It's flexible. It can even be old, it can be new, but just a recommendation for people for what to see.
Okay.
Yes. So I don't want to put pressure on you, so I'm going to start.
Appreciate it.
Okay. So my recommendation this week is a series called American Vandal. Have you heard about it?
You should watch that as well.
You must watch it, Malcolm. It's
That's-
fucking amazing.
Yeah.
It's a mockumentary series.
Oh man.
Okay, this is
Stick
actually
to the
must
bit,
watch
yeah.
on your list
Yeah.
now.
Okay, yeah.
Must
So it's a it's about investigative true crime dramas,
Sure.
like Making a Murderer.
Yeah.
There was a podcast called Serial, and there was an HBO documentary called Jinxed.
Yeah.
Because they all have this whole story about an actual murderer and their story. Because some of them have been in prison, then they've come out, so their story. All these
Yeah.
ones where their journey to being in prison.
Yeah.
So this is. It's a whole genre of series about true crime dramas.
man.
So American Vandal is a mockumentary about it, and its story is about a character in high school
Yeah.
who
Oh, you laughing
draws
already?
because it's hilarious.
Yeah,
Because the story is he vandalizes the teachers' cars, 27 cars, and draws dicks on them.
Of course.
So the entire thing, the whole time, they're trying to find out who
Who
did
drew
the
these
dicks.
Yeah, who did the dicks?
Who did the dicks? That's the
saw
whole
dicks.
story. The whole story is who did the dicks. But the thing about American Vandal, it's more than a dick joke. It actually gets you intrigued into who actually did the dicks.
Yeah.
You know,
completely
so it's really great in that front. And then
Yeah.
a great thing I liked about that show is its depiction of high school in the current age of social media.
Yeah.
Sure.
Perfection.
Yeah.
Malcolm, you must see this.
Yes, I'm
So
going
that's
to.
my recommendation
Thank
for the week.
you.
Everyone I've given it to has liked it.
Okay.
P.S. Anyone listening? Everyone, my bosses who are not film buffs, Joel who's a film buff, everyone
Yeah.
has loved this shit. So check it out.
Okay.
Joel, give us your choice.
Yeah, my first choice has to be The Room
Okay.
by Tommy Wiseau. That is one of
the room,
greatest.
not the disaster artist, but the room itself.
The room itself
give
needs
the
to
people
be
some
watched.
context.
But Joel,
I've seen it so many times.
Have you seen it, Sharon?
of course.
I've been
That's why you're covering your face right
I've
now.
been trying to get Sharon to review this movie. She said no. I finally have a platform to talk about it, so I will talk about it.
Oh man.
Yes, The Room is the best movie ever. It's the best movie ever. It's produced, directed, written, and starring Tommy Wiseau. Tommy Wiseau is the most perfect specimen. just as a human being. Now, I remember we like reviewed Valerian, and we'd mentioned like how it's kind of like an alien would see human beings interacting and interpret human emotion.
Yeah.
Tommy Wiseau is the same way. He's so peculiar. The way he acts and the way he directs his actors to perform.
Yeah.
And what I like about movies, okay, baseline, this is a bad movie.
Yeah.
But
Thank you. It's a very bad movie.
But this movie is great if you're really into the anatomy of film structure and things like performance and just the technicals of the way a film is put together. You will laugh your ass off from beginning to end.
I get it.
And even if you're not really a big film buff, because I gave this film to my sisters as well. They don't know shit about the technicals, but they derive so much humor from how peculiar everything is and the way the story flowed and what characters were doing. It's fucking insane. It has to be.
Movie?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. But as soon as it comes out,
I will
must
see
do
it.
The Room and the Disaster Artist.
I am hesitant though about the Disaster Artist.
Okay.
I'm very confident in Disaster
James
Artist.
Franco and Seth Rogen though.
Seth Rogen is very.
I'm more confident in Seth Rogen than James Franco as a director.
I'm worried. I want it to
You
work
guys
though.
know.
I really want it to work. But even
I
if
think it will work.
Even if it doesn't work, I always have The Room, and all of you have The Room. You should watch The Room before you see Disaster Artist. It's a fantastic piece of cinema and filmmaking, and it's really a great movie to like talk about. Jesus Christ.
Just so we
Watch
said,
it.
Disaster Artist is a film about the room,
About
the making
starring
of the
James
room,
Franco.
and
based
the
on
room
And
itself.
all the James Franco people.
All the James Franco guys you love, I'm sure
Everybody.
everybody knows James Franco, Seth
all
Rogen, his people's, his brother.
Apatow's kids, man. Judd Apatow's children.
I must say again, I must repeat, Joel is a fan of So Bad It's Good movies,
yes.
so know his recommendations may go in that realm.
Yes, but ideally, I would want people to like open their minds to like, the better part of cinema. B movies equals better movies.
Ah man, I wish I had a good bad movie to recommend now.
So it's your turn to recommend. Malcolm,
you know
give
what?
it to us.
Because I'm thinking about a mockumentary. I've been kind of watching a lot of like documentaries to figure out what that even means, and I recently got these two documentaries from Jacob and Grace. One of them was, I was looking specifically for music documentaries.
Okay.
One of them was Beware Mr. Baker. Mr. Baker is believed to be considered himself a jazz musician, a jazz drummer. He came up in, I believe, the 40s or the 50s, and he just like hung out with he hung out with this guy who kind of was like, yo man, you need to drum like an African. You need to like that's the thing that you need to like, if you want to drum well, just
like an African.
try to drum African. And it seems like this guy, an interesting trope of his life was just he seemed to have wanted to be black without so much the disadvantages of being black. He's up in Nigeria in the mid-70s, and he goes to this club, and of course, who is doing the goddamn thing other than Mr. Fela Kuti? And Fela, being like a big like jazz fan and being really up on his music, knew who this guy was. Like, shit, this guy, Judge Baker, what the fuck? This dude is like such a big deal. And so he starts to play with Fela. He sets up a studio in Lagos. He starts doing all this stuff, and then apparently one day, someone puts him on a horse. He ends up at a polo club. Someone puts him on a horse, and he falls off and he's like, shit, this is my shit forever.
The horse polo stuff.
Yeah, he starts playing polo, but polo, of course, has those connotations of, you know, of power and eliteness and whatever.
Yes, it is.
And he's living with like fella, performing and recording with fella, like in the evenings, and in the afternoons he's like hanging out at the polo club with all these government dignitaries and all these different humans. And fella's like, man, you're full of shit. And I feel like that's one of the best documentaries I've seen in a while. May I make a second recommendation?
It's okay.
A really old film called Waiting for Government. Okay. Waiting for Government is a film about a small American town, and they're having like an anniversary celebration. It's a town called Blaine. It's funded by a guy called Blaine who told everyone he was going to lead them to California, to the coast where it was sunny and everything was great and wonderful. They get lost and they end up somewhere like cold, like in the Midwest somewhere, somewhere cold and miserable. And he was like, we're here, we've made it, California! And they just set up there, and after a while it was like, there's no ocean though, this is in California. And they have all these small town characters who, it's like The Office from the 80s. And it's really charming because it's a much bigger treatment of it, and it still has that quirkiness of like these ridiculous characters in a small town who you never find anywhere else, but who are really lovable and who are really like strange, generally just downright strange. Yeah, those are my two recommendations, guys. Beware Mr. Baker and
that's
Waiting
all
for
you
Government.
Nice.
So, Malcolm, thank you
Thanks for having me again.
Your recommendations. I hope you had a good time.
Yeah, great time. This is the most fun I've had today.
Yeah.
Thank you. Facebook and Twitter, follow us so you keep up to date with everything that's there. Find Cinema Red Pill, SoundCloud, iTunes, YouTube, Stitcher. Yes.